Hello guys, I wanted to talk to you today about some of the recent activity with AT&T and DirecTV. So basically AT&T has owned DirecTV since their 2015 merger. They bought AT&T for something like 49 million, 50 or 49 to 50, I think it was like $49 billion to buy for AT&T to purchase DirecTV back in 2015, and since then, DirecTV's been constantly losing customers, and I think they're down to like 17 million customers as of very recently. So we're talking late of this year, 2020. They've lost something like 5 or 6 million subscribers since they purchased DirecTV. So, and it's not unusual to be losing customers as a satellite TV company or cable or satellite. Traditional television is lucky to maintain their numbers, and most are losing customers. That's becoming more and more common as all these streaming options become apparent or are available, and even AT&T knows that. So let me break it down a little bit. So we have AT&T started their own cable service back in 2006 called UVerse, AT&T UVerse. It was introduced as actually as a triple play, which means it was cable, internet, and phone service all together. But since 2016, AT&T dropped they dropped two parts of that, so the phone and the internet service was dropped from the UVerse. As far as I know now, it's all under Spectrum, or at least in my area, in Ohio, it's Spectrum is pretty popular. I lived in Columbus recently, and Spectrum Internet, owned by AT&T, was the only option for internet service. So let's see. DirecTV now is, I guess, maybe what they rebranded DirecTV as their service. So AT&T UVerse is just so AT&T has two cable providers. You've got or TV providers. You've got the UVerse and you've got DirecTV now, but AT&T is trying to sell DirecTV, and since they announced that they're trying to sell DirecTV, as DirecTV numbers have been tanking, they've lost another 600,000 subscribers in the time since AT&T announced that they were going to try to sell DirecTV, and they've been having trouble finding buyers, from what it sounds like. But yeah, basically, so DirecTV has two cable companies. They're trying to sell one of them. That's DirecTV, and just they've made a real mess of it because like I said, all cable companies are losing subscribers right now. But when you compare them to Comcast or Dish, well, I think Comcast owns Dish. Dish is probably the most comparable to DirecTV. For a long time, it was DirecTV and Dish who were the two big ones. And they've both been losing millions over the years since their peak, which is probably like the early to mid 2000s. I know that's when we got satellite in my family, was like 2005. So all cable companies are losing subscribers There's just better options on the internet with Netflix and everything else. So, but DirecTV has been losing something like 3 times the amount. Like, they've lost substantially more than anybody else. And you got to attribute that to their mismanagement by their parent company, AT&T. For least of which I can say that my grandpa and my mom, they both have DirecTV, and my grandpa's made many complaints that after the first year of having that service, DirecTV, his price went up substantially. And from what I know of, it's gone up to like $130 a month. So basically, internet around here costs about $50 a month. You're typically paying something like $50 a month. Although when I lived in Columbus last year, my internet service with Spectrum went up from 50 to 65. We have a local internet provider right now. And Spectrum isn't available in some of the rural parts, and that's where I live. So, as far as I know, Spectrum isn't even an option. But yeah, so DirecTV is tanking, and AT&T is looking to sell them, and Unite. They're going to rebrand again under AT&T TV. That's 3 T's and 5 letters. That's been around since 2016, which means that AT&T, it seems like it's premeditated, the idea that they start Uverse, then they start DirecTV TV. I mean, no. Uverse in 2006, AT&T TV was in 2016, right after they bought DirecTV. And actually, in 2016, they purchased Time Warner also, giving them access to HBO, and there's a lot to cover. I'm going to make another video about AT&T. I'll be making several, but definitely another one I want to cover is HBO Max, which is AT&T's first real stab at the online streaming market. Well, sort of. I mean, they had HBO Go, which I actually had on my phone back in 2017. It was basically just cable it was cable for your phone, and I didn't keep it for very long. As far as I know, it isn't doing very well. It's hard to keep up with AT&T, so bear with me as I go on, as I continue to learn more about AT&T along with you guys, because they've been around for like 150 years. They're a really old company. I'm pretty sure that Thomas Edison started them or had a pretty big role in their start. They're a very fascinating company, and anybody who covers AT&T will tell you they're a complicated one, and they've been around forever. And really, like, when they've been struggling to dig into the media market, and HBO Go hasn't been doing so, or HBO Max hasn't been doing so hot either. But anyway, I want to cover HBO Max in another video. So AT&T's looking to sell DirecTV, but only after 5 years of mismanagement and doubling their prices and just endless complaints from their customers. So, and who knows? I mean, I don't think my mom's going to have DirecTV much longer either, and it's just chaos over there. I mean, it just doesn't seem like AT&T's too concerned with what their customers think about their cable provider. And AT&T's a huge company. I mean, I don't need to tell you guys this, but they're what you would call a horizontally structured company, as in they're a vertical company, as in they own the whole chain of command, top to bottom. They own the internet that provides, or they own the cable that provides the internet and the phone service. It's a complicated structure, but I want to dig into that more. They're not about casting, like, for example, a company like Disney, they cast a wide net over entertainment, and AT&T does more of a top-down structure of AT&T tries to have a foothold in every rung of the ladder, so to speak. So different styles of company, that's horizontal versus like vertical. There's like a horizontal style corporation, a vertical style corporation. AT&T is definitely a vertical. You know, they have control over a large portion of every level of the ladder, but they don't. It's a complicated idea, but anyway, I'm getting off track with the whole horizontal vertical thing. But anyway, so yeah, DirecTV is in trouble. AT&T doesn't care. All right, thanks for your time, guys.